to the video. In this video I'm showing you how I painted this painting called Rose, and I want to talk a little bit about the process of it all. But first I want to acknowledge the corona crisis that we are currently living through in the spring of 2020. I'm currently practicing social distancing, which means that I'm staying home and only going out when absolutely necessary. My whole country is doing this right now, and so are many other countries. But because I'm writing my master's thesis, and because I'm kind of a hermit, this isn't so different from my usual lifestyle. Anyway, I hope this video can entertain you for a little while. I painted this painting one day on a whim because I wanted to do some big strokes with watercolor. I craved the feeling of the brush gliding over the painting when I used my whole arm to make a big stroke. I wanted to do something loose and therapeutic. But, as usual, when I get the urge to do something loose, I end up having to do a lot of, let's call it, tight stuff first. So, I started with drawing the underdrawing. I wanted to keep it in my comfort zone, so I went with a portrait with some surreal elements. In this case, a portrait of a person looking at a rose floating in their impossible whirling hair. To me, it represents how we can create something beautiful with our imaginations. The hair grows from the head where the imagination lives, and the rose at its ends represents beauty, creation, and growth. But if you see something different, it's not wrong. I would really like to hear your interpretation in the comments below if you have one. Anyway, back to the tight stuff I had to do before I could get to my desired big strokes. I painstakingly painted the face. At this point I just used one color, Carmine from the White Knight's watercolors, because I adore this color and wanted to keep it simple but sort of unnatural. I really struggled with the nose. I repainted it so many times and it looks so pink, but it gets better later. On a side note, I do realize that I could just have taken out some watercolor paper, my brush and my paints, and have started doing big strokes without having to draw an underdrawing or have any concept at all. But this just seems very hard for me to do. And when I first had the idea of the concept in my mind, I really wanted to make sure that I executed it well enough for what it deserved. Anyway, when I reached a certain point in the painting of the face, I couldn't get any deeper with the values of the Carmine color on its own. So, thinking about color theory, I added another one of my favorite colors, emerald green from the White Nights watercolors, to create a black with the carmine. And on the palette, which I don't have footage of, I saw that these two colors created some very interesting mixes. When I saw that, I decided that I only needed these two colors and all the colors they could mix together, and I got really excited. So, I painted the details in the face that needed darkening with the almost black mix of carmine and emerald green, and I almost couldn't wait to get started on the hair. Finally, I was loosened up. So I painted the rose in the color carmine, and I was very loose with it, which I find hard, and it worked out so well. I did go back later to deepen the shadows, but it's a very organic but still ethereal flower. I'm surprised it turned out so well. And then, finally, to the big strokes in the hair. All that work just to get to this. And I tell you, it was worth it. It felt so good. And here I just let loose and played with the strokes and also with the two colors carmine and emerald, and they just make the most beautiful purples, greens, pinks. I was stunned. I really adore these two colors together. Of course I went overboard and didn't let my initial strokes dry before I added the next, which is a shame, because they were so beautiful and now they are forever lost, only shadows of them visible. But I make up for it by building up layers, and the end result is really pleasing. Even though the paper did get a bit overworked in places. Whoops. Also, you will see a lot of accidental dry brushing. This paper soaks up water faster than I'm used to, And I was even working with my biggest brush. I got a little frustrated by this, but it was still a magical experience, just letting loose. I feel like you can feel in this painting how much fun I had making it. At least I can. If you're curious, I can tell you that the painting took me about 1 hour and 10 minutes to paint in real time. I really hope you enjoyed watching the process and hearing me ramble about it. If you did, please like the video and subscribe if you want to see more art from me. I'd really appreciate it. See you in the comments or in the next video. I hope you're doing well and keeping clean. Goodbye!